What if I told you there was, well, an actual food sitting on your kitchen counter right now that basically acts as a pair of edible internal sunglasses for your eyeballs?
I mean, it sounds like science fiction, honestly.
Right. But it's not. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are, moving completely past the trendy, overpriced cafe menus and the endless social media photos of avocado toast.
Yeah, definitely time to move past that.
Exactly. We are here to medically unpack what is essentially a true physiological multi-tool. So whether you are a dedicated health enthusiast tracking every single macronutrient or, you're just someone looking for a few easy, practical upgrades to your daily diet, this is for you.
Absolutely.
Because understanding the actual physical mechanics of what this specific food does inside you, it's going to completely change how you view your next meal.
It really is. It changes everything.
Okay, let's unpack this, because when looking at the sheer variety of what is inside this thing, it's almost dizzying.
Oh, for sure.
We are talking about heavy doses of monounsaturated fats, both types of dietary fiber, potassium, magnesium, and a whole spectrum of vitamins like K, E, and C.
It's a huge list.
It is. It really begs the question of how a single, seemingly simple green fruit manages to pack so many distinct functional tools into just one package.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the true marvel isn't just the sheer number of vitamins and minerals present.
Right.
Because anyone can just glance at a nutrition label and see a list of components. But what's fascinating here is the highly specific, targeted ways these nutrients actively interact with our body's major biological systems.
Like they actually have a purpose once they get inside.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about direct mechanical engagement with the cardiovascular system, the digestive tract, and even foundational structural systems like your skeleton.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a fundamental shift from viewing food as just, passive fuel or a calorie count.
Just something to burn off on the treadmill.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah.
We have to start understanding it as active biological programming that goes to work the second it is introduced into your biology.
So it's not just sitting in your stomach waiting to be burned off. It literally has a job to do.
Precisely.
And to really understand that power, I think it makes sense to start right at the center of the body's engine, right?
That's the best place to start.
If we want to see how these nutrients manage the environment inside you, we have to look at how they manage the blood pumping through your veins right now.
And that brings us straight to the cardiovascular benefits.
Yeah, because the first major component that jumps out is the fat content. Specifically, these monounsaturated fats, which, from my understanding, are very similar to what you find in high-quality olive oil.
They are very similar, yeah. And that fat profile is really the defining characteristic of the fruit. Its mechanism of action in the bloodstream is just vital.
How so?
Well, these monounsaturated fats, they don't just float around aimlessly. They actively alter your lipid profile. They go to work lowering LDL, which is commonly understood as the bad cholesterol that builds up in your arteries.
The stuff we want to get rid of.
Right. And while they lower the LDL, they are simultaneously increasing HDL, which is the good cholesterol.
Ah, okay.
So by aggressively shifting that balance, they directly reduce the risk of heart disease.
Okay, I have to stop you there because, well, honestly, the math on that isn't making sense to me.
How do you mean?
Well, we've been told for decades that fat clogs arteries, right? Like, fat makes you fat, fat causes heart attacks.
Oh, right, the old diet myths.
Yeah. And now you're saying this incredibly dense, fatty fruit somehow clears the arteries out. I mean, how does adding more fat to the bloodstream actually clean up bad cholesterol?
I know, it is a profound paradox if you only look at the outdated dietary advice of the past, 40 years.
Right.
The key is understanding that your blood actually needs lipids, fats to function. But the type of fat dictates the environment.
Okay, so not all fats are created equal.
Not at all. Think of LDL, the bad cholesterol, as a sticky substance that leaves behind dangerous plaque on your artery walls as it travels.
Like gunk in a pipe.
Exactly. That plaque narrows the vessels and restricts blood flow. But HDL, the good cholesterol, functions like, well, think of it like a fleet of microscopic garbage trucks.
I love that visual.
Yeah, so this fleet travels through the bloodstream, scraping that sticky LDL plaque off the artery walls, and then transports it back to the liver to be processed and eliminated.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the monounsaturated fats in the avocado are essentially deploying more garbage trucks to clean up the mess left by the bad cholesterol.
They are deploying more garbage trucks while simultaneously reducing the amount of new sticky plaque being produced.
That is amazing.
It really is. It is a dual-action cleanup crew.
It's almost like swapping out dirty, sludgy oil for premium synthetic oil in a car's engine.
That's a great way to put it.
Like, you aren't removing the oil entirely, because obviously the engine needs it to run, but you are putting in a specialized, high-grade version that actively flushes away the buildup and, optimizes the whole system.
That premium synthetic oil analogy perfectly captures the internal environmental shift.
Thanks.
But here's the thing. Optimizing the cholesterol profile is really only the first half of what I like to call the avocado's two-pronged defense for the heart.
Wait, there's a second half.
Oh, yeah. Because the fruit also delivers incredibly high concentrations of two essential minerals, potassium and magnesium.
Okay, and what are they doing while the fats are busy sweeping the pipes clean?
So while the fats optimize the physical composition of the blood itself, the potassium and magnesium are physically regulating the pressure at which that blood is pumping.
So they're dealing with blood pressure?
Exactly. They are responsible for preventing hypertension and just generally supporting the overall mechanical function of the cardiovascular system.
How does that actually work mechanically?
Well, magnesium, for example, acts as a natural relaxant for the smooth muscle cells in your blood vessel walls.
Okay.
When those muscles relax, the vessels widen.
Making it easier for blood to flow.
Right. And potassium works in tandem with that by helping your body balance out sodium levels, which further eases the cardiovascular strain.
So you have a much cleaner, thinner fluid pumping through a more relaxed, better regulated pipeline.
That's the two-pronged defense.
That truly is a complete cardiovascular maintenance kit in one single food, happening entirely simultaneously.
That really is.
But logically, for those fats and minerals to get into the bloodstream to do all this heavy lifting, they have to survive the gut first.
Yes, they do.
So what is happening while this food is still being broken down in the stomach and the digestive tract?
Well, the mechanics of how this fruit is digested are just as impressive, if not more so, than its cardiovascular benefits.
Really? More impressive.
I think so. This is where we see a massive dose of dietary fiber come into play. Crucially, it provides high amounts of both soluble and insoluble fiber.
Okay.
And they perform vastly different physiological tasks.
Right, because fiber is one of those buzzwords everyone knows they need, but I don't think most of us actually know what it's doing down there.
Most people don't.
So what is the actual difference between the soluble and the insoluble kind?
Let's break them down mechanically.
Yeah.
So insoluble fiber is the one most people are familiar with when they think of, roughage.
Like celery strings.
Yeah, exactly. It does not dissolve in water. It stays relatively intact as it moves through your gastrointestinal tract.
Okay.
You can picture it as an internal broom.
An internal broom. Yeah.
Right, so it adds necessary bulk to the stool, sweeps the digestive tract clean, smooths out bowel movements, and is highly effective at preventing constipation.
It just keeps the trains running on time.
Precisely. It keeps the physical transit system moving efficiently.
Okay, the sweeping mechanism makes total sense. What about the soluble kind then?
Soluble fiber does the exact opposite. It dissolves in water and gastrointestinal fluids.
Oh.
And when it does, it transforms into this thick, viscous, gel-like substance inside your stomach and intestines.
A gel? That sounds a little weird.
It sounds weird, but it's incredibly beneficial.
Mm.
This gel physically coats the lining of the gut.
Okay.
And here's where the secondary, more systemic benefit kicks in.
Yeah.
The avocado naturally combines this gel-forming soluble fiber with those dense, heavy, healthy fats we just discussed.
Right, the premium oil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you put thick fiber gel and complex fats together, it basically acts as a massive brake pedal on your entire digestion process.
Oh, wow. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Because slowing down digestion sounds like a bad thing if you just want your body to, process food and move on.
It does sound counterintuitive.
But by hitting the brakes, it must keep the stomach physically feeling full for a much longer period of time. So instead of digestion being a rapid breakdown, it becomes like a time-release capsule.
That is spot on. It fundamentally alters the pacing of digestion.
Wow.
Think about a standard meal high in simple carbohydrates like, a bagel or a bowl of sugary cereal.
Delicious, but yeah.
Right. That digests incredibly rapidly. It flashes through the stomach, dumps a huge spike of glucose into your bloodstream, and then just vanishes,
And then you're hungry again.
leaving you crashing and starving just 2 hours later.
It's like throwing a bunch of dry twigs on a campfire. Huge flame, but it burns out in 5 minutes.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
But combining dense fiber and fat is like putting a massive, dense hardwood log on that same fire.
It just burns slowly and steadily.
Yes, consistently for hours. By slowing everything down, the avocado acts as a powerful, natural appetite suppressant.
That makes so much sense.
It regulates the slow, steady release of energy into your bloodstream, which beautifully controls your blood sugar levels and prevents those sharp, exhausting mid-afternoon spikes and crashes.
Which, I mean, that completely reframes how we think about managing our weight.
It really should.
Because it's not just about restricting calories and relying on sheer willpower to ignore hunger. You are literally hacking your own hunger signals.
Exactly. Weight management is rarely just a psychological battle of eating less. It really is a biological strategy.
Right.
It is about choosing foods that physically signal the brain that the stomach is currently occupied and the body is full, and then keeping that specific neurological signal active for a prolonged period.
And the avocado does that.
The synergistic action of the fiber and fat does exactly that, naturally preventing the urge to overeat later in the day.
It makes so much sense when you look at the actual mechanics of it.
It's all just biology.
So we've navigated the daily digestion cycle, keeping the gut swept clean and the appetite tightly controlled.
Right.
We've traced the continuous cardiovascular maintenance, regulating the blood pressure, and actively scrubbing out the bad cholesterol.
The daily maintenance, yes.
But the biological programming doesn't stop with daily maintenance. It zooms out even further, moving from these minute-by-minute systems to a timeline of, well, decades.
Yes. Now we transition from daily operational maintenance to long-term structural defense.
Which is huge.
It is. The final biological impacts center on how this fruit actively protects your physical architecture and your sensory organs against the inevitable wear and tear of the aging process.
And the two specific areas that stand out for long-term protection in the research are our eyes and our bones.
Yes.
Let's start with the eyes, because this is the part that genuinely blew my mind.
That's a really cool mechanism.
Yeah. Because there are powerful antioxidants in this fruit known as lutein and zeaxanthin.
Correct.
And these compounds actively protect eye tissue from ultraviolet ray damage, like actual UV damage from the sun. And they prevent macular degeneration in old age.
That's what the data shows.
But how does a green fruit in your stomach stop sunlight from damaging your eyeballs? Like, how is that physically possible?
Well, this raises an important question about how highly specialized nutrients actually distribute themselves throughout the body. Because when you consume foods rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, those particular antioxidants don't just, disperse evenly throughout your bloodstream and stay there.
They don't.
No. They have a highly specific biological destination. They are naturally drawn to and accumulate in the macula.
Okay, the macula being the part of the retina at the very back of the eye.
That's right. The macula is responsible for your sharpest central vision.
Got it.
And it's constantly bombarded by light, including high-energy blue light and ultraviolet rays from the sun.
Just from us walking around outside.
Exactly. Over decades, this relentless light exposure creates oxidative stress and physical damage to the delicate photoreceptor cells.
Which causes the vision loss.
Right. This cumulative damage is what leads to macular degeneration, which is a leading cause of severe vision loss as we age.
So wait, so these antioxidants physically migrate from the stomach through the blood all the way to the back of the eye tissue. They just know exactly where to go.
They systematically deposit themselves right in the path of the incoming light.
That is wild.
And once they're concentrated in the macula, they function identically to a biological light filter.
Seriously?
Seriously. They physically absorb the high-energy, damaging ultraviolet and blue light rays before those rays can strike and degrade the visual cells.
So my initial thought at the beginning of the show wasn't that far off. Consuming this over a lifespan is essentially building a pair of edible internal sunglasses right inside your retinas.
It is a highly proactive defense mechanism. By maintaining a steady supply of lutein and zeaxanthin, you are actively shielding your ocular tissue from environmental degradation day after day, year after year.
I mean, I'm never going to look at a bowl of guacamole the same way again. That is just wild.
It is pretty incredible.
But then, okay, we pivot from the delicate tissue of the eye to the heavy, rigid structure of the skeleton.
Right, the bones.
Because just half of an avocado contains about 18% of our daily requirement for vitamin K, which is crucial for preventing osteoporosis and severe bone damage.
Absolutely essential.
Now, I have a major bone to pick with this pun fully intended, based on everything we are taught growing up.
Oh, I bet I know what you're going to say.
Usually, the only instruction we ever get for strong bones is, drink your milk for calcium.
Right.
Calcium is the undisputed king of bone health in the public imagination. So why the intense focus on vitamin K here? What is vitamin K doing that calcium isn't?
This raises an important question because the focus on vitamin K is essential. It corrects a very common, very dangerous misunderstanding about human nutrition.
Okay.
We are heavily conditioned to believe that simply consuming a mineral like calcium guarantees it will just magically fortify our skeleton.
Right. You drink milk, you get strong bones.
But consuming calcium is entirely useless if your body doesn't retain it and direct it to the right places.
Wait, if I drink a glass of milk, my body isn't automatically using all that calcium? Where does it go? Does it just flush right through me?
A significant portion of it can, yes.
Right.
Your body routinely filters out minerals and expels them through your urine. And this is exactly where vitamin K steps in.
Okay, so what does vitamin K do?
You can think of vitamin K as a physiological traffic cop combined with a structural lock for your bones.
A traffic cop and a lock.
Right. It serves two absolutely critical functions. First, it directly increases your gastrointestinal tract's ability to absorb the calcium you consume from other foods in your diet.
Okay, so it pulls more of the raw material into the system to begin with.
It pulls it in, but the second function is arguably more important.
Which is?
Vitamin K literally locks that calcium into the structural matrix of your skeleton by significantly reducing the amount of calcium that your kidneys filter out and waste through your urine.
Oh, it essentially stops the leak.
It completely stops the leak.
That's incredible.
If you are consuming a high calcium diet but you are deficient in vitamin K, a huge percentage of that calcium is simply being flushed down the drain.
So you could be drinking all the milk in the world and still end up with weak bones.
Exactly. By ensuring the calcium is not only absorbed but actively retained and embedded into the bone tissue, vitamin K acts as a primary defense mechanism against osteoporosis.
Because osteoporosis isn't just weak bones, right?
No, it is a condition where the bones become porous, brittle, and honeycomb-like because the structural minerals have literally leached out over time.
Wow.
Vitamin K maintains the density and integrity of your skeleton from the inside out.
Okay, so what does this all mean?
It's a lot to take in.
It is. When we step back and look at the sheer biological scope of what we just explored, it is staggering.
Truly.
We started with the cardiovascular engine, where monounsaturated fats act as premium synthetic oil to deploy garbage trucks that clear out bad cholesterol.
Right.
While potassium and magnesium physically relax the vessel walls to ease the blood pressure.
A dual action defense.
And then we travel down to the digestive tract,
Right.
where a dense matrix of soluble fiber gel and insoluble fiber brooms bind with those fats to act like a slow-burning hardwood log.
Keeping you full.
Right. Keeping you full, preventing sugar crashes, and biologically hacking your hunger signals to manage your weight naturally.
Exactly.
And finally, we looked decades into the future, seeing how targeted antioxidants migrate to your retinas to build microscopic sunglasses that fight off UV rays.
The edible sunglasses.
Yes. While vitamin K acts as a traffic cop, locking calcium into your skeleton to stave off the brittle, porous bones of osteoporosis.
It's a full-body intervention.
It tells us that food is so much more than just daily fuel or a mindless calorie count. It is highly complex functional programming.
It really is.
The things you choose to put on your plate literally dictate how your body operates, how it repairs its own microscopic damage, and ultimately how it survives the aging process.
The complexity is truly remarkable when you break it down system by biological system.
It really is.
And, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought to consider.
Please do.
We just spent our time analyzing the profound systemic effects of one single common item from the produce aisle. We saw how this one unassuming green fruit can provide internal UV defense for our eyes, physically alter the tension in our cardiovascular pressure, and change the way our kidneys retain crucial minerals like calcium.
Yeah.
So if an everyday food like the avocado possesses that level of targeted, highly evolved medicinal power, what does that suggest about the vast, completely untapped medicinal potential of the other everyday whole food sitting right now in your kitchen?